Tokusatsu, taking the form of many shows including Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Metal Heroes. And today, a group of fans come together to review it for you as Toku Secrets. Hey guys, and welcome to a new episode of the Toku Secrets podcast presented by AnimeSecrets.org. We've been away for a little bit. I can't remember the last time we did our last video, but as we've mentioned in a previous video where all of us here at the Anime Secrets talk about our future plans, we do plan to try to be a bit more consistent this year with putting out content in 2020. We really want to make 2020 our year. Am I right, guys?
Definitely.
So, yeah. But so today we are going to be continuing our review series that we started in our previous video, where we take a look at the Super Sentai series that aired from 2012 to 2013, Tokumei Sentai Go Busters. Last time we just simply took a look at the first 10 episodes to give like a pretty early thoughts on it. This time we'll be taking a look at a few more episodes. And joining me for this podcast today is... Guys?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you were going to introduce us.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oops.
So, I'm Riz.
And I'm Anthony.
I exist.
Yeah. The Cajun Indian and whatever Anthony wants his nickname to be.
I don't know what to call him anymore.
I don't know what to call myself either.
Yeah. So,
you can call me the Chubby Chaser, but I don't know if that's appropriate or not.
Yeah.
I won't want to offend any of like our plus sized male listeners out there. So
yeah. Well, anyway, before we get started with talking about the content for this, we start our videos off with the RANOT section. RANOT is an acronym for Randomly Assorted News of Tokusatsu. I know it doesn't sound that clever, but it's the best I got. So we've been away from We've been away for a little bit. So obviously, the first and foremost thing to talk about is that there's a new Sentai coming out. It will be airing in March of this year. It is called, from what I can tell, I think it's called Majin Sentai Kira Major. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it appears to be a bit of a magic themed Sentai, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Anthony?
that's what I've been reading.
Yeah. I guess a new magic Sentai. I mean, that's... I don't think we've had a Magic Sentai in a while. I think Machi Ranger was the last one we had, so I guess it's about a good time to kind of take a look into Magic again. What do you guys think?
I'm down for some magical times, dude. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah,
I like magic.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, just the fact that we're getting, just the fact that this Sentai has been announced in general has just kind of just kind of heartwarming for me, because like I don't know, I've watched like several videos and I've just seen this stuff on Reddit about how like there was legitimate risk over like Ryu Soldier, that's the Sentai that's currently airing, was had to do like incredibly good or else Sentai would get canceled. Now that's what I heard from like those were just rumors, but on the other hand, my girlfriend who lives in Japan has said that like shows like Sentai are apparently never under threat for being canceled. So, yeah, it's just kind of a bunch of different juggling stories. But I guess, my girlfriend probably knows more about that stuff because, she actually lived in Japan. So
the whole homeland. So she knows all the deets.
Yeah.
She knows everything. See what's gone.
Yeah.
That was apparently the reason why they decided to do dinosaurs, though, for Rio Soldier, because apparently, like, dinosaurs kind of, always guarantee by toy sales. I mean, Kyoryuger was, like, probably one of the best Sentais that they had. I mean, we like Kyoryuger as a series, but as far as like toy sales and everything,
I mean, I have the figure arts and the freaking Zujin as the as Kyoryugen as my as a figure. So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, dinosaurs are just like fun in general to play with as like mecha. So
same.
Plus, I mean, Kyoryuger had the Judenshi toy gimmick, which
definitely
I hear that was probably just as popular as like the Ranger Key gimmick that Gokaiger had. So, yeah, Anthony, you've seen Rio Soldier. What kind of gimmick did they use a gimmick in their show?
Their gimmick is they have these little keys that like they flip up and they either insert them in their wrist batted morphers or they insert in their swords, which they use like little to holster up, and they power up and they form like a kind of like a armament type of thing on their arms. Mm-hmm. Like they give them different abilities and whatnot. Yeah. From what I remember, because I haven't watched it since the debut of the Sixth Ranger, which is also another Gold Ranger. So,
okay.
I have to watch it from start to finish again because I don't remember anything from that because nothing really happened.
In a lot of ways, it seems to be copying a lot from Kyoryuger. I mean, the core 5 is red, blue, pink, green, and black, and the Sixth Ranger is a Gold Ranger with his secondary color being blue. I mean, It's like, but I guess Kyoryuger isn't the worst Sentai to try to mimic.
No, of course not. I just don't like repetition. That's the one thing about me. I don't like repetition. So like, what's really weird though is like I'm weird when it comes to this type of thing. Like I didn't mind it when I was watching all the Power Rangers seasons that had like the same color scheme as the last one, but at least the gimmick was different. You know, that makes sense. From I think.
Yeah, totally.
I'm trying to think. From Lost Galaxy to I think Lightspeed Rescue, and even Time Force, aka Time Ranger, had basically like the red, blue, green, yellow, and pink as their main 5 for all those seasons. But I didn't mind it because they changed up the theme of what it was.
Yeah.
Here it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get to the same one with the same theme, and it's like, it doesn't work. I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
And it's interesting how we've just been talking about Rio Soldier because now, granted, it's only rumors, though we'll obviously know later this year. After Power Morphicon comes and goes. There's rumors going around that Hasbro is going to be trying to adapt Rio Soldier next for Power Rangers, which I guess does sound good. I mean, I guess with like the Sentais that they have left to adapt, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't want to see Power Rangers get adapted from Tokuger. I really don't want to see a Tokuger adaptation. What else
do.
They? Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
If they can do it right,
hilarious.
If they can do it right, hopefully, because like, okay, for one, if they can implement like the magical aspect of it, then it could work. Say for instance, their headquarters actually is the train that they fight in, and travel. They can travel on different locations. This will give like the viewers like, hey, we're not just going to be staying in one town. We're going to be traveling to different towns, trying to stop the forces of evil everywhere. It could work.
I guess it could. I'm just maybe it's just because I'm not too fond of Tokuger. So
the only reason I only 3 characters, I don't like 3 out of the 6. Well,
it's like 1, 2, and 3 are terrible, but 4, 5, and 6 are fine.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Okay, so other than Tokuger, they would have they've done Ninja. They've done what came after Ninja? They have Zyuohger. And then
I love Zyuohger.
I love Zyuohger too.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, but I don't know. Maybe they don't want to repeat themselves, seeing as they're technically already adapting. They're doing a Power Ranger series with animal themes.
Yeah.
And then you have Q Ranger, which I've only seen the first episode of that show, so I have to hold
Just
my
a,
judgment
just
for
a
that
fair
show.
warning, they add the Rangers like crazy. Like every episode, they're already adding more Rangers to the
I
roster
know.
already. And it's
That
like,
might.
and then by like episode, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all right now. By episode 10, there's already 11 of them already.
Yeah.
11 of them already.
Uh-huh.
At episode 10. Yeah.
I think it would be cool to see Hasbro do that, though, because I really think that, like, Hasbro, I feel like Hasbro does want to make some radical changes to Power Rangers to kind of, bring back the brand name to like its former popularity. So I'm guessing maybe Q Ranger would give them those opportunities, but again, this is just rumors. I mean, we're not going to know until Power Morphicon, what series they're going to do next. Now,
Right.
granted, there were some people that did like a live stream earlier talking about how there's also rumors that like Power Rangers, like, now I don't buy this. I don't think it's going to happen, but like they were talking about like the possibility of Power Rangers getting canceled or something like that, which, I mean, first of all, Power Rangers has been canceled like how many times now? Like, I mean, this
At
is a show.
least, don't want to say 2 times they've gotten canceled.
I mean, this is a show.
But they got renewed and came back. So
this is a show that you just can't kill, no matter how many times you try to kill it. Like,
actually, now that I think about it, it was
Uh-huh.
3 times because the first time they were going to end it was Pirates in Space.
Yeah,
That was originally going to be like the finale because they
And
wrecked
then
all the stuff with Zordon.
then Disney tried to kill it with after Wild Force, so that's a second time. And then they tried to cancel it once after Jungle Fury, but then they had to do RPM. Then they officially killed it with RPM, but then Saban brought it back. So yeah, just I don't know. Like
Yeah.
Power Rangers just seems to be like that show. Like no matter how many times you try to kill it, it's always going to find a way to bring itself back up and become more relevant every time it comes back. So I'm not really that worried much. Besides, I don't think Hasbro would make such an investment to buy the Power Rangers franchise and then just only to like just let it die after they've only owned it for like a year now. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I think people in Tokusatsu fandom just really, you always have like those groups of people that just can't help but like have like this really doomsday sort of stuff. Like, the end of, Power Rangers or Super Sentai is nigh. I was one of those guys at one point, but after a while it just kind of got annoying, especially since it still hasn't happened. So, but yeah, that was just something kind of interesting to talk about. Now we have mentioned Power Morphicon. Unfortunately, none of us will be able to attend Power Morphicon this year due to some different circumstances between all of us. But we're hoping to attend in 2022 altogether. So now, obviously, that's 2 years from now. But just check back with us on that in 2 years. Anyway,
it'll be worth the wait. Maybe.
Right. Hopefully. Now, with that said, we can now move on into the main subject for this. We're going to be covering Go Busters episodes or missions, because that's what this series likes to call their episodes. We're going to be covering missions 11 through 16, since this kind of covers like a part of debuting some new characters for this series. So the first couple of episodes here is not really much to talk about. Mission 11 is all about Gorosaki trying to develop an alarm to help Ryuji stay alert of when he's going to be overheating, so that he doesn't overheat, and that activates his weak point. Since, as you may remember, Ryuji has the power of super strength, but if he uses too much power and overheats, then he basically goes berserk. Like, he basically turns into the Hulk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. Not really much to talk about with that. Episode 12, Mission 12, likewise, is just another filler episode where the Go Busters have to go undercover, and they're taking care of a big actress from Hong Kong, who apparently looks exactly like Yoko, since there's a threat for a Megazord, which the only thing I can comment on this episode is that this is kind of a been there, done that thing. If you've watched Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, then you'll know that that there's an episode literally with this exact same plot. That episode where this actress who looks exactly like Kendricks gets hurt, so then Kendricks has to fill in for her. So yeah, they do
Same
pretty
scenario.
much. Yeah. And that was the same plot in the Ginga Man episode too. So this literally is a been there, done that thing.
Yeah.
Now, missions 13 through 14, and this is where we kind of talk a little bit more about the story, and the people assisting me here might have to do some talking because this is a little fuzzy in my head. But basically, with episode 13, the plot is that the Go Busters and their buddy Roids go to the zoo and an amusement park, and they discover that Enter is apparently planning something, but apparently their commander has disappeared without warning. Do you guys remember more of the details from this episode?
I do remember the fact that Enter was trying to basically create a Metoroid that could is able to withstand. Actually, no, it was one. He created one of them to take the attacks of the Billbusters, and then create another one to actually counteract those attacks because it knows the abilities and moves of all of the what techniques has been hit on. So the other one basically attacks the rest of them, kind of like a one that scans it and is able to know what their moves are. The next one goes in for the final killing blow. From what I remember, it was the tuba roid, I think, right?
Yeah, it's called the tuba.
Yeah,
tuba roid.
Yep.
And part 2 continues the story where Yoko, after she freezes because of her weak point, she gets captured by the Tubaroid, and
number two, because the first one got destroyed.
And Hiromu and Ryuji have to go and save her. But of course, and it's pretty much one of those typical stories where one of the people gets captured, and then the villain is don't you try to stop me, or else your friend's gonna die. It's one of those plot points. But
and then you have one character and then they do want to save her, but then they're but we gotta save this instead of this. And then one character speaks out, is what, you guys don't care about your comrade? You care about this more than that? And it's I get where both sides are correct on this. On one hand, we don't want to give the bad guys what they want, because they would win if they have this. However, we'll be down a member of our team, which we need to stop said bad guys. So it's kind of what do we do? We even we lose either way, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, but the important thing that happens at the end of this episode, though, is that they defeat the Tubaloid. They're able to defeat the Tubaloid 2 and free Yoko, and then they continue to their day off, and this episode ends with the reveal of a gold Go Buster. Dun dun dun.
And a Buddy Roy. Dun dun dun.
Right. And
Ruh-roh.
this is where we get into missions 15 and 16, which debut two Go Busters that.
For Lieutenant Colonel. There
Sorry.
were skills that I
Sorry about that. I'm using an episode guide to help guide me through the episodes, and some random audio just started playing. Apologize for that, but anyway, these next two episodes basically debut two new characters for the Go Busters. They are both they are called the Beat and Stag Busters, and in a lot of ways, they're kind of reminiscent of previous Sentai duos. They're both based on beetles. One based off of a rhinoceros beetle. No, he is not based off of a mantis.
I still can't get over how ridiculous that was. But
How does that look like a mantis?
Other people try to defend it, and I'm just like, but why? Like, I get it. Maybe kids don't understand, like, but I'm not gonna sit here and not confuse my kid. It's one of those things where if your kid goes into like a classroom or something like that, tells you, oh, this is a mantis, and they'll clearly laugh at him saying that, oh, that's a beetle. Were you stupid? Like,
Yeah.
I'm overthinking things too much. See, I'm overanalyzing things. It's my problem.
Yeah.
We need to stop that.
Okay, so gold is based off of a rhinoceros beetle, and silver is based off of a stag beetle. Kind of reminiscent of the Go Rider characters. You may know them as the Thunder Rangers from Ninja Storm.
I freaking actually like the Riders better than like the Thunder Rangers. If you think if
Yeah.
you're picky here, because I really like their story of how like they went from wanting to defeat and kill the Hurricanegers to become their allies later on.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, so do I, but that's a subject for another video. But
Definitely.
Anthony and I could talk about that later in a later video. But
oh, most definitely, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's all up here, baby. Like I can tell you all the stuff that happened in that show.
Okay, before we get too far off track, I'm sorry, Anthony.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Now the gold and silver, and then being a gold and silver duo is kind of reminiscent of the Go on Wings from Go Onger, or the Boom Twins from RPM. Except in this case, they're both male instead of male and female.
I still somewhat like them better than I like a few other characters that I.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Go on Wings, but I'll talk about that in a later video.
Yeah.
So these two characters, so basically Beat Buster, he's the gold one. His name is Masato Jin, and a fun fact, this is actually yet another Sentai Ranger who's played by an actor who already portrayed a Sentai Ranger. He was Tsubasa Azu, Maji Yellow, and Maji Ranger.
Yellow Thunder!
Right.
That guy. My favorite Magi Ranger of all time.
Yeah, he's a good character. For those of you back home who don't speak Sentai, you watch Power Rangers Mystic Force, he's Chip's counterpart. So this whole story, so Masato Jin is Beat Buster, and Stag Buster is his buddy Royd, who transforms into a alternate Ranger form, and his name is Beat J Stag. And apparently, this is, I think that this is a recurring thing in the series, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently BJ Stag needs to be with Masato Jin at all times, because if Jay, and we're just going to call him Jay for short, if Jay is not next to Masato, he's unable to transform. That's true, right?
Actually, well, it's revealed later on, but so
Yeah, well,
apparent.
I'm just talking about some technicalities with these characters real quick.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm. So, so in this episode, what happens is that the Go Busters are the Go Busters are told that they will be meeting Beat Buster and Stag Buster, and they pretty much cross paths while facing off against a new one of Inter's newest roids. I think it's called the Soji Kiloid.
Yep.
And and I could just say right now that I really enjoy Stag and Beatbuster. They're both great characters. Misato's whole thing is that he's a scientist. Um, he he was apparently an idol for Ryuji. In fact, Ryuji even once designed a robot as a teenager that he wanted him to judge. And Masato was really interesting as a scientist because he sees Ryuji's robot and he doesn't like it. And the reason why he doesn't like it is because it's perfect with no flaws. And he's more interested in robots with flaws because he thinks that, perfection is boring, which, yeah.
I'm laughing at this because, like, I don't know if anybody has ever really watched the newer X-Men films that came out recently. Magneto was all about perfection when he was talking to Mystique about her being like, "Oh, why are you transform into your human form? Or you could just be in your blue form. It's perfection." And they always use it as a meme. And all like just use his face and have like some other picture of depicting of some other character. He'll go, "I want the real one, perfection." He's like, he's the anti-perfection. He's like, "What? How dare you?"
I just find it interesting how this Sentai takes a jab at how being perfect can be like one of the biggest flaws ever. And yet in future Sentais, the Red Ranger will always be like this perfect person who can do no wrong. And it's like, did nobody watch Go Busters and realize that can be a huge flaw? And I'm looking at several people, like I'm looking at you, Takaharu from Ninja, or Rice from
look at you too,
Tokuger.
Lucky from Q Ranger.
Yeah, so I just found that to be a really interesting thing. And there's also this running gag throughout the series where Jay will get in front of Masato, and then Masato will push him away or hit him on the head and be like, "Hey, don't cover me, get out of the way," or something. So yeah, that's pretty funny.
How gonna spotlight?
Yeah, I like the designs of their suits too. Yeah. And also, I mean, their weapons are swords, and I'm a sucker for swords. So
I really like Masato's freaking jacket. It just looks so good.
yeah,
it does. I want that jacket.
I love that jacket as well. I was like, can I cosplay him?
You all means, go ahead.
He's pretty cool, and he's an engineer, so it fits.
Yeah. But do you seek perfection? I wonder.
I mean, I am perfect.
Okay, then. Well, all right, then.
So, pretty much this whole debut story arc for the two is that, in mission 15, they assist the Go Busters with defeating one of Inter's newest roids, but then they shock the Go Busters by stealing the truck full of Ineteron for themselves.
Yeah, basically going, bye!
Yeah, so, these guys are already kind of like anti-hero. Well, I don't know if you could call Jay an anti-hero since he's really just following what Masato Jin is doing, but Masato is definitely an anti-hero right now.
Yeah.
So, and the next episode, apparently, it's discovered that these two new Go Busters, we'll just call them, the Beetle Busters, since they're both based off of Beetles. they apparently originate from hyperspace, which I don't know if we explained this in the previous video, but hyperspace is like the area that the Messiah rules over. It's basically like this post-apocalyptic like area that the Messiah has already destroyed, and it's basically part of like the real world that's already been taken over, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And yeah, pretty much the net, it's all about, the Go Busters learning about having to trust these new busters who are apparently trying to get Inetteron for themselves. And we also get a look at their mechas for the season. Masato uses a BC. His vehicle is called BC-04, which is a crane truck that has its own warrior form and can also transform into a rhinoceros beetle. Yes, it is a rhinoceros beetle. It is not a praying mantis. And, sorry,
I cannot live that down. No, I'm just as mad as you are.
I have the toy. I have these toys here. There is no way, even as like a 6-year-old kid, that I think that's a praying mantis. Now, would I like to see a praying mantis Zord? Absolutely.
Of course, that
would
thing be
awesome.
amazing.
Like give me a Power Ranger Zord that looks like Scyther from Pokemon.
Oh, that would be awesome.
But this is not a praying mantis Zord, and I'm not going to shut up about how it is so obviously not a praying mantis.
They're gonna make kids look. It's like they're making kids gonna. I'll explain this. It's like they're gonna make kids seem dumb for like not figuring it out. Like, oh, like, no, this is a rhinoceros beetle. Like, they don't have to pronounce it correctly. Just know what it is. Like, that was the case.
Yeah.
You're gonna confuse kids later on. They'll be like, "This is not a mantis. This is a beetle." Like, what are you doing?
Now, a big thing about Masato here that's all revealed in this episode is that he was one of the few scientists that was left in hyperspace, and some of the other scientists that were left behind were Hiromu and Yoko's parents. And of course, Hiromu and Yoko want to, figure out what happened to their parents, but Masato doesn't know. And it's also revealed that, much like Inter, Masato is technically an avatar. Like he's, it's really hard to explain. Like his real body is being like preserved as data in hyperspace, and he's only appearing physically as an avatar in the world with the other Ghostbusters.
Yeah, through Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jay has like basically was built to basically holster the avatar Jin. So whenever Jin quote unquote dies, he can just Jay can just boot up, activate another one, and bam, he's right back to normal.
Yep.
And the same go for Enter, because we found out that Enter is also a avatar as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's really cool is how we found out about it was the fact that like Jin was about Hiromu was about to get hit with some missiles, and then Jin got in his way along, and he took himself along with Enter, and they both blew up, and they're thinking like, oh, this is the end of Enter already, like, and then no, he just came back. They both came back.
Yeah. Like, you're not going to beat the main villain like that series that easily.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that about wraps up the story part that we're going to be covering for this. So, I think the best thing to talk about here is that, let's just talk about, these new beaten stag busters for a little bit. We can't go into as much detail because we don't want to spoil anything that may come up. But, I would say that I personally enjoy Beat and Stag Buster's debut because I think, like, I don't know, like, I kind of mentioned this in my Tokuja review, how, every Sixth Ranger debut story always seems to be like the exact same. Like, the first episode, they come out of nowhere and they have their powers. Next episode is all about them trying to join the team. And then a third episode, which is usually the one that also debuts their mecha, is the one that kind of revolves around them like having an issue with some random member of the core team. Like for example, Guy's debut in Gokaiger. First episode we meet Guy. He already has his Gokai Silver powers. Next episode is all about the Gokaigers accepting him as a member of their team, and it also debuts his mecha. And then the episode after that, it's all about him having some random conflict with Dawn. And you can basically rinse, lather, and repeat that formula for several Sixth Rangers. Like I know, it was the case for like Mega Silver.
I think Mega Black had an issue with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mega Ranger was actually the first Sentai to employ that formula.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love him, I think Boken Silver kind of did that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I give some exceptions to Boken Silver for reasons that I'll talk about at some point.
I do like the fact that they took their time to debut Boken Silver because for reasons we know why, but we're not going to tell them until we get to that review.
Yeah, but I think this I think that this debut story though is it's obviously like I really enjoy these characters, and we'll see more of like some of the reasons why I like them in when we take a look at future episodes. But what I really like is that Masato is a bit older than the other Go Busters, so he's almost kind of a mentor to the characters.
Yeah.
Though he because and him being a scientist, he does have a pretty good relationship with Ryuji. And plus, I don't know. I mean, I just think that they're both really funny characters with how they work off each other. And, I think I would probably put them as like another example of comedic Sentai Sixth Rangers done right.
Yeah.
Like, the only other person that I can think that actually did that good was Genta from Shinkenger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, Riz, what are your thoughts on Beat and Stag so far?
Honestly, I think Beat and Stag had one of the better Sixth Ranger is, and I use the word is here because they're not really Sixth Rangers, right? They're like fourth and fifth, but the idea of like them being like the auxiliary ranger that comes later, I think their story did a lot better than some of the others that I've seen. Because I didn't really care for the Tokusatsu one. Fucking hated ninjas. I don't actually think I saw Zeodzer's 6. No, I did. I liked him. He was decent.
Yeah.
But
at first I didn't like
these
him.
Guys,
he grew on me a little bit.
He grew on me, yeah. But these guys, I think they were, from the get-go, pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
So, I personally like them. And I think the way the story is, the only complaint I would have is some of the execution was a little questionable to me in that we barely had them on screen like for maybe 20 minutes before we already know, oh, hey, here's their deep secret of how they're here and how they're not like in these sub-dimensions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's been dragged out a little bit more just for the drama to add some more suspense, some more bickering back and forth, but maybe it'll get added later.
Especially with like the head buddy relationship between Red Buster and Beat Buster.
Yeah.
Because they were throwing hands all throughout this episode, and I'm just like, wow, this is actually really good. Like,
And I think, I mean, I guess looking back at like when I first watched Go Busters, I probably enjoyed watching I think Beat and Stag, really made me Go Busters a lot more because, I mean, as we pointed out, like, before Beat and Stag came after, like if you take a look back at our first video, it's like the first 6 episodes all had a pretty decent story, and then it's like, but then after, like, we got the debut of Go Bustero, then it was like filler, nothing really happened, and then like Beat and Stag Busters debuts kind of added some much needed story, and the story is going to get a bit more interesting starting after this. Now, I don't want to spoil anything because Riz still needs, Riz needs. I don't want to spoil anything for Riz, but this is a
quick thing for the audience. I'm watching it as we podcast, so like 3 days before each podcast, I'll watch like the 10 episodes or the 5 episodes or whatever we're podcasting about. And then we'll discuss it because I want to give like the perspective of I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yep.
Whereas these two know exactly what's going to happen. So I'm trying to live up to that.
Yeah. I think that about sums up, the content for this one. I know that this one is a bit shorter since we're not covering as many episodes, but next time we'll be covering quite a few because the next video that we do is going to be where we start talking about where the story kind of starts to expand pretty big. So yeah, definitely look forward to that one. But
yeah,
you guys got any
unfortunately this one had a lot of oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Riz.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, this segment of episodes we did watch carried a lot of filler and just kind of like random stuff going on. So honestly, I wasn't fully invested in the filler episodes. Like, I was kind of watching and I was like, okay, But the minute we started doing the debut of Stag and Beat, I was like, okay, now we're going somewhere good. I like this.
Yeah.
So let's see where we go.
You got any closing remarks you want to give, Anthony?
I also definitely enjoyed these two. Like, these guys were like the pretty much the game changers of Go Busters. Even though I still enjoyed the series because of the characters and like the action scenes, like this actually made things a little more interesting. Okay, like we got some shake things up. I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, that about wraps up for this. I want to thank everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. If you're listening on iTunes, thanks for giving us a listen. Couple of closing remarks. For starters, as we mentioned in the previous video, we're actually going to be Riz and I, and Anthony is of course welcome to be part of this as well. We're going to be launching a new podcast series called. We're kind of giving a working title for it called the Millennium Falcon.
We're not ready to reveal that name yet.
Right. Okay. Then.
Yeah.
It'll basically be a Star Wars related podcast, and I'm, the pilot episode, which is done by yours truly, will be released pretty soon. But I hope you guys will check that out, especially if you're big Star Wars lovers. Like, I'm pretty sure all 3 of us here are. Well, I know Riz is. I don't know about Anthony, but
I'm definitely a Star Wars fan. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I'm more like a casual fan. Okay, this is nice.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Next time we'll be covering Go Busters. We'll probably be covering quite a few episodes. I think we'll probably go up to like maybe at least I want to say 30 because there's going to be a lot of story here, and it's going to be difficult to find a cutoff point for that. We will hopefully be able to post that video in March, seeing as this will be our February video. So, we thank you all for checking us out. Please remember to follow us on Instagram, check us out on Facebook, and all those other, social media moments. And, if you're watching this video on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, maybe leave a comment down below if you like this video. And with that being said, we are the Toku Secrets Podcast coming at, and we are here to give you content on a consistent basis here in 2020. This will be our year. 2020. We are intent on making that clear for all our fans. But until next month, we will see you guys. May the power protect you. See you.